So I'd heard a lot about American Beauty before I got the chance to see it. Personally, I wasn't really a fan, but one good thing that did come out of this movie was the reference that they made to it in Family Guy. So like I said, I was not a fan of American Beauty. I don't know how to explain it completely, but I'm going to do my best. If I had to say exactly what it was that I didn't like, I think that it would have to be everything in this movie just felt too contrived, and I'm aware that all movies on some level are contrived, where things are conveniently placed in the ways of the characters so that they can move forward in the story. But to the writers of American Beauty, come on. You have to do things and write things in a more subtle way, and everything written into this movie for us to find out about the characters just didn't feel very subtle. And you told us about the characters in the way advertisements used to work back in the 1920s. There are series on TV like Sons of Anarchy or Breaking Bad when the characters talking about themselves don't feel so contrived. But here, the lines said by a lot of the characters felt completely contrived. For instance, one line that I didn't like was the one where What's-His-Face, the king of real estate, says the line where we learn everything central to Carolyn Burnham, when he says, "One must project an image of success at all times." And she agreed completely with that statement. When Carolyn failed to sell one of her houses, she started crying and then started berating and yelling at herself. And it made sense that she would identify with that statement, but at the same time, it was just too conveniently placed. With Kevin Spacey, though, I do not understand at all why people thought that his role in this movie was so good, let alone why it warranted him winning an Oscar. His character just felt so lifeless at times, and restricted in a lot of the others. I did like the character development of Lester Burnham, though, throughout American Beauty. I did love how he changed in ways where even though he was living a life of a loser, who was disrespected at home and at work, and then becoming a guy who was tired of taking shit from the people involved in his life. And by the end of it all, he changed into somebody who didn't care anymore and was free to do what he wanted, and he didn't have to listen to anyone. And of course, I'm sure I'm saying something that most other people have probably said long before I saw this movie. But truly, I loved how this movie shows us the life of a family that superficially looks all right, but beneath the surface, they're messed up and hate each other. American Beauty is an overrated movie by a director that made two really good movies that I actually liked. And because of those two movies, I hold Sam Mendes to a much higher standard. American Beauty gets 2.5 stars out of 5.